What's up, everybody? It's me, Coach Mills here, and today we're going to be breaking down Valorant patch note 6.02 that has a notable weapon nerf and a gameplay change that will actually have a huge effect over some of your games. But to double your win rate, let me introduce you to the Game Leap 50% off Valentine's Day sale. All the tips, tricks, in-depth breakdowns are available to you for a fraction of the cost, so what are you waiting for? Check it out right now down below. Let's talk about the gameplay system updates that are included in this patch. Quote, when a player fires a shot, it takes time for the input to reach the server. To prevent you from needing to lead your shots, Valorant implements server rewinding. When the server determines the outcome of a shot, it rewinds character positions around the bullet to match their locations at the time when the shot was initially fired. Finding that right limit for a max rewind amount is important for reducing cases of anyone feeling like they need to lead their shots or that they can still be shot after safely repositioning themselves. When we launched the game, the max rewind value was set to 200 milliseconds based on what we deemed as acceptable network conditions, factoring some amount of additional input, processing, and latency to play Valorant. Based on players' data since the launch, we've determined that this value is too high for the network conditions experienced by most of you. So basically, they're adjusting the max server rewind limit down to 140 ms from 200 ms. And they said this about it: if you only play games where everyone's ping is low, you shouldn't even notice this change. In other cases, the impact from this change will be subtle and most of you won't notice the difference. That being said, we expect to see the following changes in gameplay patterns. Playing against players with high ping should feel less like you're getting shot after moving behind cover by a bullet fired earlier, and players playing with high ping may start to experience hit registration inaccuracy. So now you're not going to have those frustrating moments where it feels like someone that you're up against on the enemy team that has really high ping has an advantage against you in some way. It's basically all just a disadvantage at this point. Now this once again tries to level the playing field and makes it so it's not frustrating playing against players with high ping, but you tell me, how do you feel about this change and why down below? Now the next thing that we need to talk about is the Stinger changes, and the Stinger got a pretty sizable buff a bit ago, and yeah, it's been performing pretty well, maybe a little bit too well, because it got swatted back down recently, and they said this: we feel that the Stinger is overperforming at medium to long range engagements at its price point. Force buying heavy armor and Stingers on both round 2 and 3 was too effective and lacked the appropriate nuance and economic trade-off. We hope that players can occasionally still access this strategy, granted that they have the credits to do so. Cost increased from $950 to $1,100. Damage fall off changed. Previously, it was 27 a bullet from 0 to 20 and 25 a bullet past that. Now it's 27 per bullet from 0 to 15 and only 23 damage past that 15 meters. So it's quite a nerf to the Stinger. Honestly, there's going to be a lot of other weapons that I think will be more appealing than rocking that Stinger, because the price increase, the damage decrease, that's just a lot kind of all combining together to make it so the Stinger isn't really that reliable, and you're going to see a lot less force buying of the Stinger, or at least it's going to be very specific role wide. Like you might see a duelist like a Jet or a Raze force buy it, but you're less likely to see like multiple members of the enemy team force buy it. Now this was a rather lean patch notes, but we did get an interesting bit of information about the potential next agent. Smoke Dancer is the code name that has been declared for the next agent, and it's interesting because Harbor was our last agent, which was a controller, and Smoke Dancer obviously implies a controller, so I don't really know if they would do controller back to back, or would they incorporate some type of smoke element into a different role. Maybe not like an actual targeted smoke, but just like a smoke to set up an ability. Maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Definitely let me know your speculations about Smoke Dancer in the description down below. Smash that like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. But to double your win rate, let me introduce you to the Game Leap 50% off Valentine's Day sale. All the tips, tricks, in-depth breakdowns are available to you for a fraction of the cost, so what are you waiting for? Check it out right now down below.